Yeah, it was going to be just a general talk about differences in philosophies of how people geocache now and as we did in the back
Okay.
back in the day where Muggles were Muggles.
Right. Okay.
And of course, you're perfect here because we could talk about LEOs. So
Okay.
how things go with that. All right, we are broadcasting. Hey, folks, welcome to the Geocaching Podcast. And you guys ready? I think we're about about ready to do this thing. Make sure we're recording, and there we go. The numbers are moving. I love it when it does that. All right, folks, sit back, relax, get your favorite libation, your favorite snack. The Geocaching Podcast is coming at you right about now.
You want to know how to find it. Seek it out when they hide it. You know it's in the bag when it's an easy grab. But come on, take a chance now. So go, geocache. And if you need help, we're right there in a flash. If you got a question, just call in and ask. Uncover the stash on the Geocaching Podcast. The Geocaching Podcast.
Welcome to the Geocaching Podcast, episode 505, recorded live on July 26th, 2017. I'm your host, Headhardhat with
Scott Berks
and Taz 427.
You can join our chat room and watch our live video stream, plus participate with us as we record this episode. All this and more can be found at www.geocachingpodcast.com/live. Be sure to contact us via our voicemail line at 630-31-VOICE. Also find us on Twitter at geocachingpodcast.com/Twitter and Facebook at geocachingpodcast.com/Facebook. This episode is sponsored by our good patrons of the Geocaching Podcast. To become a contributing patron, simply click on our Patreon logo on our webpage to help keep our podcast going. From all of us at the Geocaching Podcast, we thank you. All right, guess who's back?
Hello,
Mr.
Hello,
Versus.
bitches.
We okay, starts right off the bat. There we go. I got to turn the iPad up.
I'm back.
That was more like this.
I'm back.
Much better. So Scott's back.
I'm back.
That
My
has
my
had a well-deserved rest.
Yes.
Exactly. my summer hiatus is over.
Yes. It's awesome.
I'm back.
Glad to hear. Unfortunately, Sarah, aka InfoFerret, had some work stuff that she had to do, and isn't able to join us tonight. But she deserved a well-deserved break when it comes to that. So hopefully everything's fine with what she needed to do for work, and go from there. So excellent stuff.
Okay.
All right. So let me make sure I got this going here real quick. Sorry about that. There we are. And I just hit the wrong button there. Okay, good enough. So yeah, it's been hot here. We've had a situation not quite as bad as in the Southwest, but the Southeast is getting good and baked. We had near 100-degree temperatures all week, and when you add that and humidity where it's 90% or more, when you say wet blanket, we're talking sopping wet blanket. It is air that you can cut with a knife.
Andy's melting out there.
Oh, it is bad. It is really bad. So yeah, not so much. I didn't even get a chance to do the Mary Hyde thing, which we'll go over tonight with all the different info that's made available for this week. But planning on going out tomorrow and fulfilling at least one of the requirements for it, so that my friend league doesn't come looking for me if I don't, keep up. It's one of those two sides of the sword. Yes, you're part of my friend league. Why aren't you contributing? So just saying.
Have you gotten any of those emails saying?
It's not quite death threats, but it's more of a maiming threat.
Really?
It's no.
So meanwhile, so get this. I don't know how many you guys have gotten, but remember, like 2 shows ago, I threw my name out there. Yeah. I got like 30. I went from like low 70s to like mid 100s.
Oh yeah.
Like I got Jess. Did you get that many? How many did you get?
Maybe 10 or 12.
10 or 12. I got like 30. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got about 20 or 30. And I was like, I was a bit surprised. It's like, so I have them everywhere from New York to New Mexico, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was listening to last week's show, and I'm hearing Andy going, well, Andy, was it you? No, it wasn't you. It was InfoFerret saying she's being like, I'm not going to just let anybody be their friend. Like, really? You just clink, 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 clink.
Well, apparently she's getting the people that have one or two finds that are coming in there and requesting to be friends.
So they're actually scraping to get.
Does it hurt? Does it hurt you in any way?
No, it doesn't.
It's not hurting you. You know, it's.
Well, geocaching.com has to be feeling good about if their accomplishment for this whole thing was to have some kind of utilization of the friend list.
Yeah,
this has to be a success for them because everybody's doing it.
Well, I think now with the API updates that you have the latest data on the friends. I mean, someone even came out with an app that effectively tracks the activity, so you can kind of see where your friends are.
Scrape it?
Oh, you can stalk?
Is it scraping the info?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. But it's not quite real time, but it's pseudo real time as far as when they've logged it. So if it's like Kirby Docs out there, then you're finding out where she was 3 weeks ago.
Gotcha. So it's not like, okay, pinpoint accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
So so we're I'm actually planning on putting out a couple of travel bugs tomorrow and going that way. Plus there's a couple of brand new geocaches that I've been saving. I haven't gone after them just for such occasions to get some gold coins. So
right.
Yep. We'll see what happens. So Mr. Scott is
yes,
back.
sir.
How's it going, man?
Oh, man.
How's the house?
So much to talk about. Good Lord. It's good. House is great. It's really good. We're very happy. Nice and much bigger house, double the square footage of what we had. And it's just great. We're just finishing it up. We're almost done. My poor father, he wants to see the house, but I'm like, you can't see it till it's done. And he's like, I had baseball for a month. So he I just finished baseball. God, about 2-3 weeks ago. Toby's been gone a week. Toby went to overnight camp for 4 weeks.
Wow.
He left last Sunday, the Sunday before. So he's been gone a week already. And I miss him a lot. Yep. But it's nice because it's very different than when I went to camp. Now, every night they put pictures up. They have a whole gallery, and I could see what Toby's doing and see.
Neat.
Yeah, so I see him. I get pictures of him. I can see what he's doing. And what else? My streak is about to end. I have not found one for July.
Oh my!
Yeah, 101, and and I'm struggling.
Someone put a cash out.
I don't care. I got 101. That's fine.
Well, you're back in an area you used to geocache in,
yeah.
right? Or
so while it's a gold mine for Jessie. I mean, she could trip and hit a cache. I mean, I've been gone for 4 years, so it's somewhat populated. But
right.
Gotta remember, I used to come out here for my kids all the time. So I still would pick the stuff up. I'd pick the stragglers up. Yep. So it's really not that much here for me. I mean, Jessie, oh my God, she's like, she can go out and get 1,000 in a weekend. They're everywhere for her. Wow. So we went out caching last weekend though. We did the whole, did the Mary Hyde thing, and I did this week's Mary Hyde thing already. I Jessie was telling me, she's like, you can cheat, right? Do you know how to cheat with that?
With what now?
With the Mary Hyde thing this week's?
This week's?
Yep.
We'll go over the details. You'll have to fill us in because we're going to go over part of it because there's some different stuff this time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So don't be dropping your own
he knows.
and then picking them out.
Dude, I got 15 points for dropping and taking out. I'm done. Just like that.
All right. I'm actually putting new ones out tomorrow, so that'll be that.
So I got an email from Craig today. I don't know you're saying who's Craig. Remember, Craig is the from West Bend, the guy who created West Bend. Absolutely. So I had to email him earlier in the week and tell him that we're actually not going to be on the main stage this year.
Oh my God!
For the first time in 7 years, I think. 6,
really?
7 years. Yeah, Walt's going to be in New York. He's like, I'm going to be in New York. I can't do it. So I'm like, all right, dude, it's no problem. Hey, man, it is what it is. But I had emailed Craig, and Craig was not happy. He's like, "What's Wes been without the Chicago Geocaching Podcast on the main stage swearing?"
Yes.
You know? So,
hey, if you can get Daryl W4 to swear, I mean, come on.
Right, I know, right? So we will actually not be, for the first time in years, we will not be on the main stage. Yeah.
Wow, that's sad.
Other than that, just work and done with baseball. So me and Jesse trying to finish the house and have some time to ourselves for a change and
actually do some geocaching.
Doing some geocaching, absolutely. We have. It's funny is that Cam is going to his dad's all week next week, her son. So it's like it's no kids all week.
Wow.
So we should have some fun then.
That sounds great.
Excellent. Yeah, that's what's going on. That's what's going on.
Yeah, got out and grabbed a few caches for the Mary Hyde in the 100+ degree heat. Yeah, got out there and the rabbits were like, the field mice were like, in the snakes were like,
oh yeah,
dead. And in the cache containers were I went 4 for 4 for broken cache containers, plastic cache containers that have disintegrated in the heat.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
I know you used to get that in Texas, but you get it in California too.
Yeah, I think it's a little worse here because of the dryness, and it dries out the plastic and turns it brittle, and they snap. Now, West Texas gets it because or outside of the Houston area where it's a lot more dry, it gets a lot worse. But they'll melt in Houston, but as far as crumbling, it's the dry heat that kills it.
Really?
Now, do they cover the plastic ones with rocks in that? Because I've heard because in the desert and some of these other places, you can have the thick, heavy plastic, but if you put stone over it, you now have an easy bake oven.
I think that's it, but it also once the lock the non-lock and locks, because they're cheaper, but they kind of have little snaps on the side. Once they dry out and the snaps break off, you put a rock on top to kind of hold that lid down in place.
Wow.
So, I mean, these caches, most of them were anywhere from 5 or 6 years old. So
how close are you to the ocean?
Me? 3-hour drive.
Oh, so you're far away. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about 90 minutes from Lake Tahoe, which is on the California Nevada border.
Okay.
Very nice.
Okay.
Here I always was worried about you with tidal waves and all the rest of it. And...
yeah, no.
Okay.
I think I'm at about 1,700 feet elevation.
Oh, yeah.
Really? See, I'm in Chicago. The only way that we break our lock and locks break is because you stick it with a pole when it's in the snow and you're trying to find it. Pink. You're like crack. You're like, uh-oh, sorry.
Oops. Yeah. That's never happened to me. So
anybody who's ever cached in winter for any amount of time,
gorilla tape, bring gorilla tape.
You've learned that like you always bring a stick or a walking stick just so you can like churn through the snow to find that ammo. Ding, 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 donk.
Now in Texas, that's churning through the fire ant hail. You hear that thunk, and then you pry it out.
Yeah.
You take the container and you throw it up in the air, and you run so that none of them drop on you. And then when it hits the ground, it knocks them all off. And then you can get the container with only a few fire ant bites.
That's
wow, that is a technique.
God, see, one of the things I'm happy I live in Illinois. Nothing will kill me in the woods here.
Oh, there will here. I mean, same thing. Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah, all part of the fun. All right, let's move on to the podcast roundup, letting our viewers know what's going on in the geocaching podcasting community. This week on Geo Gearheads is episode 291. Hey, they're almost hitting the 300 mark.
Yeah.
Randomize, what is that? 59? What is LIX? I'll have to look it up. Anyways.
That's 59.
It is 59. Hey, well, how's that for a good guess? It's another randomized show, the show that collects all the smaller topics for a variety of subjects for geocachers. So that'll be tomorrow on the Geo Gearheads.
Yeah, I'm on that show.
Are you actually? You're kidding? You're actually on that one?
The moratorium is over.
Oh my gosh. Gopher returns to the Love Boat.
Gopher. Dude, it's Charo.
Charo. Whatever. Coochie.
Yes. I have finally been allowed back on that show.
I see the grace period is finally
That's right. The moratorium's over. Yes, I'm allowed back on.
Oh, that's awesome.
I paid my dues.
The FCC has finally approved and allowed Scott to come back on.
Yeah, I'm on. I'll be on tomorrow.
All right, good things to check. Please consider becoming a patron for our show. We greatly appreciate it. It does cost money to do this funky thing that we do, and every little bit helps. And for the new people that have been continuing on with us, we're for the patronage, thank you so much. We appreciate it. It is greatly, greatly needed. And again, thank you all for everybody that contributes for the show. All right, moving on, Taz, for the Geocaching Podcast or the GCPC mailbag, all you have to do is send in your geocaching related information to gcpcmailbag@gmail.com. And we actually got kind of a switcheroo here. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to let Taz talk this one.
Yeah, so this one's from Merlin1392. I wrote when Andy was spending too much time criticizing the geocaching app.
What?
You mean the crappy app that they came out with? That one?
Yeah, that one.
That one?
That one. So be quiet.
Okay.
So it is right and proper to acknowledge the good things in life as well. And by that, I mean that Andy has gone above and beyond to demonstrate market appreciation for the current efforts of geocaching.com. Mm-hmm. I agree that journalism should present the good and the bad, and it is one of your responsibilities to point out deficiencies or better, suggest continued improvements. Mm-hmm. I also agree that geocaching app is not Cachly, GSEC, or one of the more favored geocaching apps, but it does hit the mark for basic caching and has made significant improvements in the recent past. Kudos to them for their continued effort, and kudos to Andy for acknowledging the good and the bad. Thanks for all you do for geocaching. And, I agree. We bash on it a lot, but hey, I mean, if it's getting results, then
if we can bring up discussion in any way, shape, or form, be it good, be it bad, or whatever, then we've done our job. When people can sit there and talk about it and relate and go for it. And you know what? When we got good things to talk about, we are more than happy to talk about the good things. If all we've got is not good things, then that gives us our choice of what we are going to discuss.
Well, at least I got to give them credit where credit's due. They finally removed that stupid 30-foot thing.
Yes.
That was the first year that the app was out. It was on.
Yes, so, I agree.
Was that it dings every time you get within 30
when
30
you
feet,
get 25 feet or something.
Okay. No, it actually takes over the screen and says like you're really close. And meanwhile, so when you're driving and you're trying to go where the cache is, and all of a sudden this thing pops up, you're like, really? Right in front of the map.
Right.
Like, and you gotta push it to close it.
Yep.
Yeah, so, it was irritating.
It was irritating, absolutely.
Shows you how much I use that app.
Oops.
Just saying. So yeah, lots of stuff with that. And again, I have no problem giving kudos where kudos is due. We love geocaching.com, and sometimes we just don't agree. And we have no problem voicing our opinions when it comes to that. So good, bad, or indifferent, how people take it. We do love when things are going on. And again, I really do appreciate since Brian has taken over, we've seen a definite improvement in the amount of effort of trying to work with the geocaching community as a whole and doing stuff.
Right. And so far,
that's all we ask.
So far, my favorite thing that they've added is the properly mapping the location of the solved puzzles.
Yes. I mean,
I did see that. Yes,
it's little stuff that does it, but they're doing it, and that's the whole point that we were trying to make. Is nothing was happening.
Yeah.
So yeah.
See, is that a shot at Jeremy, or is that a kudos to Brian?
It's not a shot at Jeremy. I think Jeremy. I mean, just judging on the way that he left, and the email that he put out, the man just got burned out. He just got either disinterested or wanted to focus his efforts on other things. Be it the skunk works, maybe that's what's happening in the background that we don't, we're not fully aware of. But with him leaving and with Brian taking over, there was a distinct change in the attitude with geocaching.com and the effort to get stuff out to the community. And that's what we picked up on. It's like, hey, they're trying to do stuff, encourage. And that's all we wanted. We just things just got stagnant, and we don't want stagnant. We don't want change for the sake of change, but we don't want sitting on laurels either. And that's all we tried to get put into place with that. And sometimes it does come across on a very negative type of way. And in some cases we know that, and we're doing it on purpose. But on the other hand, it promotes discussion. And again, that's our job, to get people talking about stuff. And apparently that helps. So good stuff. And thank you, Merlin, for putting that. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, we do our best with when it comes to stuff. So good stuff. Let's see, Taz or Scott, however you want to do it on there. I'm going to push the news button, and then we'll jump into that one, because we got some Mary Hyde stuff to talk about.
The news.
So which one of us do you want?
I'll tell you what. Why don't we just all kind of jump in on?
For the record, I always do the emails, and Taz does the news.
Well, I've been doing.
See what happens when I go away for 3 months? This is what happens.
Right. We got to change the show notes. That's what it is. So I'll put Scott over.
Okay, so I'll start this out.
All right.
The second message in a bottle was sent out on Monday, July 24th. Sell alone to collect 10 gold coins and earn the second map piece souvenir.
Yes, and they went through and said, ahoy, mateys, and I'm not going to do my pirate because my pirate sucks. Or C. Well, either way. Your journey has begun with one piece of the map, and we'll talk about that in a minute because I thought I screwed up with this. But 3 souvenirs remain for you to unwrap. So this week, don't be afraid to take the lead to earn the next map piece. You already have everything you need. And again, pirate poetry is just not where it's supposed to be. And I'll let Scott finish that part up.
But I was told I wasn't watching.
That's fine. Find a trackable.
Oh, find a trackable or drop one anew. You'll earn 10 coins for every one that you do. Individually collect 10 gold coins from July 24th to 30th to earn the second map piece souvenir.
Okay, so now
how are you going to do it pirate style, Scott?
Yeah. What, Scott? You got a pirate way.
You said you got it. You took my walking stick that's trackable, dropped it in one of my caches, and then pulled it out of my cache.
There you go. Okay,
and got 15 coins.
That's how you do it.
Jesse, because Jesse's like, we were talking about it over dinner that when it came out Tuesday night. Jesse's like, you could probably cheat that, right? I'm like, how would you cheat that? She's like, drop it in and take it out. I'm like, I'm gonna go see if that works right now.
And it worked.
That totally worked. Totally worked.
Well, something to think of, because I actually
got to learn on this guy. There you go. I learned how to hack the system.
I actually went through and paid for by the Geocaching Podcast. I actually have 2 trackables that I can put out for putting it in. Was the way that I was going to go. So the kicker is, folks, with this one is they did not talk about your crew having to have a total points system like they did last week. We need to have 30 points.
And I'm kind of pissed because Nandy has like 697 coins.
Yes.
What the hell are you doing with 697 coins?
To find a lot of geocaches.
I think Nandy's cheating the system like I was doing.
If I dropped all my coins and picked them all up, I would probably have like close to 1,000 points.
I might have enough geocoins to drop in. I'm just saying.
I mean, my total friends. Oh, I don't even have my total friends. It doesn't give me my total friends because my total score is 15.
Yeah. So I mean, no total points for the crew, which I find interesting. Maybe because they realize that everybody now has 700 people in their friends league.
Yeah, they have to rethink this.
Yeah, but you have to earn at least 10 points. Or coins to do this. And the last time you only had to do 5 by finding the single geocache.
Right.
10 this week is what they're looking for. And the push on this one is to do trackables. So in the information that came in the bottle, it said, don't be afraid to take the lead, blah, blah, blah. New to trackables, a trackable is a geocaching game piece that travels from geocache to geocache. By sending a trackable off on a mission, you can see the world through the geocachers' logs and photos, which is actually a lot of fun. I really do love watching geocaches or trackables as they go from place to place and all the places they go, and then go, man, that thing's better travel than I'll ever be. So, that kind of thing. So week 2 point values are as follows. To get a trackable from the cache like Scott did, you get 5 gold coins.
No, drop. Is it drop 10 and pull 5? I think
Correct.
That's what it is.
Drop 10. If you drop a trackable into a cache, you get 10 gold coins. If you pull a trackable from the cache, you get 5 gold points.
Right.
If you find a log, like last time, if you find a geocache, you get 5 gold coins. If you find and log a geocache with 10 or more favorite points, they drop this down. You only get 7 gold coins.
If you do what? What is it?
If you find a log with 10 or more favorite points, last week you got 10 gold coins. Now you only get 7.
Oh.
And also, if you attend any event cache, you only get 7 as opposed to 10. So the push this week's on trackables. And to go out and do that, put one in, pull one out, whatever works, to get you up to that 10 gold coins. So
in 5 minutes, I had 15. Literally 5 minutes.
There you go.
I'm surprised they let that fly.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess it's just a game. Who really cares?
But it's like,
it's not about the numbers.
The people that have been in this game for as long as we have, we know the ins and outs of things. Just saying.
I can't believe it worked. I was like, oh my God, it works. I was talking to Jesse. I'm like, we got to go get caches this weekend. We got to get a couple. She's like, I think you can hack it. She was right.
I love it. If there's a way of finding it, we will. Yeah. Before you go off to earn your next souvenir, be sure to log the caches you found last week from both far and near. Log your finds by Tuesday in order to be sure you received last week's first map piece souvenir. Right. Now, I talked about this earlier.
Tuesday, New Zealand time, which
New
is
Zealand time, yes.
Monday.
Yeah, exactly.
It's funny, guys, because when we were off the air, all 3 of us were talking about what time we got our souvenir. Because Andy's like, I got it late. I got it at like 5:30, and I'm like, I got mine at like 4:30. And Ted's like, I got mine at like 2:30.
Yeah,
which when it comes to
at the same time,
that's the same time.
That's how it is. Yeah, but I was worried because I started, I'm doing the show notes and trying to get all of this. It's like I didn't get my souvenir. What the heck? And yeah, finally about 5:30 or so, I got a little ding. And
I was curious. I was like, I knew it was coming sometime this week. I just didn't know when.
Yeah, interesting stuff. So that's it. That's what you have. If you've got your friend league, I'm just curious. Let's see what I've got. Now they did change the friend league a little bit. Instead of like, I still am at the bottom. Okay, never mind. It has, people like Foxtrot 871 who has 840 and Andy 108 has 697. It's got down at the bottom 20, and then it says you, and I got goose egg. So
I got my above me. Oh, see, I have 15, but then below me, above me is 45. So
and apparently, they got to see more now, so you can actually pull up other people to actually see how bad I suck. Is basically what this.
I'm at the very bottom.
Yeah, I think they like that. Okay, Podcasher. I think Podcasher did the same thing Scott does because they've got 15 points.
No, Sonny cheated the system. Come on, no way.
I'm just saying they got 15.
I think I just busted Sonny cheating the system.
And the funny part is, Scott, in my list, you are just above. You're actually tied with Podcasher. So.
They would not want to be on the same league as me.
Oh my God, that's funny. So you can actually see more now by just clicking the see more button if you go to friend league. And
again, Daryl still more than me.
Daryl is?
Daryl has more than me. Yep.
Yeah, he does. Okay. He's got a whopping 22. So
yep,
that's funny.
Look at all these donuts because people who don't cash anymore. God,
yeah, exactly.
Lord.
Exactly. So anyways, that's how you do it. And if you want to check out your friend league, just go to geocaching.com/play/friend league, and that'll bring yours up.
There's Headhardhat with a big donut right there.
Big donut. Big greasy Krispy Kreme donut right there.
Yes, you got it. You're out there with a donut.
Well, it's going to change tonight because I'm going to put a trackable out.
He's going to like, give me about 10 minutes up to 15.
Well, it'll change, guys. Don't worry. For the people that put me on and go, hey, Headhardhat, quit slacking off. So, So that's how it works. It's really interesting. Let's see if they're curious by scoring. Nope, they got the curious with scoring put in place. So you can check out and see your point system if you got to reaffirm what you're getting. And it'll be interesting to see how each week goes with this. And if we'll have all the links in the show notes and go with that. But let's see. Let me bring this part up here. This just went out on me. Hang on.
So it looks like next week is also you work with your crew, and then the fourth week is challenge yourself to earn the last piece.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And that's the week of West Bend too, I think.
Yeah, because if you look at if you got your first souvenir, which I was going to bring up here,
I did get it. I haven't looked at it yet though.
Yeah, and there we go.
Go to my souvenirs.
There it is. All right, let me see if I can bring this up. We'll actually show you what the book looks like. It's not giving anything away from that, but I'll bring this up so that you can actually see it.
Where the heck are my souvenirs? Oh, they're there. I can't find anything on this new site.
Yeah. All right.
So I'm guessing it's not an event required on the July 31st through August 6th because they haven't notified us ahead of time. Otherwise, there's going to be some people that didn't get events submitted in time.
Sure.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, it's not really giving anything away. It's the upper left-hand part of the map. But the thing that I was interested in before that, or after that, I should say, is it does talk about the other souvenirs that you're going for. So there's one called Smuggler's Cove. There's ones called Cuts and Keys. Another one is Batten Down the Hatches.
Wait, where are you? Let me see.
And this is right off the actual. If you got,
that's the email.
Okay. Yeah, this is the email.
Gotcha.
And so you had Batten Down the Hatches, and then the last one, of course, is the Lost Treasure of Mary Hyde, which I smile every time I laugh about that with a lady pirate and her treasures. But anyways,
thank you.
Thank you. So it's interesting, and we'll see how the pieces go when this goes. And does that look like Southern Florida? Because I think you were actually saying before before the show that it sounded like Louisiana-ish.
The X marks the spot is about Houma, Louisiana.
Okay.
Just below Thibodaux.
Yeah. So for the people listening to the podcast, it basically shows the southern part of basically the Gulf of Mexico. And you got Cuba and the Southern Horn, and then Florida off to the side. So, yeah, interesting stuff. We'll have to see what the next piece goes for that. So, I have to admit the Mary Hyde thing is intriguing, and it's interesting, and it's keeping my interest with this. So lots of cool stuff.
I can't believe how many people are dressing up as pirates. If you go to your Friend League and you look at the Twitter feed.
Oh yeah,
people dressing up like pirates.
Yeah, got to get into the mood, have some fun.
Okay.
All right. So let's see. Tonight's episode actually, one of the things that came to mind was about Muggles, and there was a discussion. Of course, you get into the Harry Potter thing about what exactly is a Muggle, and how geocaching kind of adopted that terminology for geocachers because it fit well. I always found it interesting how some people think that the term Muggle is too derogatory. It's a term, guys.
You're kidding.
Yeah, people, it's labeling in a negative connotation is basically how it goes.
Of course.
And I went, yeah, well,
somebody always,
somebody's got to have it that way, and it's like, it's a game term, folks, from a fictionary thing about wizards. Okay, so just saying. But I was thinking about that, and I thought, are Muggles different now than they were, say, back in the golden age, where Scott likes to put it around 2008, 2010, which is right around where I started, and a lot of us did. Is the thought of Muggles different from what it was in the past?
I think to a degree, yes. Part of it has to do with the fact that now everyone realizes that their smartphone, which 2008 people didn't have smartphones. Well, maybe a very small Very small percent of people had iPhones.
Right.
But people did not generally have personal devices that you could look on the map as to where the heck you are at any given time. And now just about everyone has a smartphone with GPS, and they know you can be wherever you're at and or see where they're at on the map at any given time and click on it and tell it to go to some place. So it makes a little bit more sense to them that a treasure hunt game could be around this. And, there are some geo-related games and stuff out there as well that are not geocaching.
Yeah, but I mean, back then, let's face it, if somebody was looking at a device, granted it was just a GPS unit for us, that sent off warning signals. It's like, what are they doing with that thing? And we had to go through different ways of hiding the GPS unit so that people didn't panic. Yeah. And I mean, do you remember the old days where you had somebody came close by and you took your GPS and acted like it was a cell phone?
Yeah, sure. Sure.
And
but I guess I think
take my cell phone and put it up to my ear, or I'm acting like I'm reading a page.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think in this day and age, you're going to find most. I don't find very often people who've never heard of it just because of Pokemon Go push a lot of towards it and just it's time. It's been around for 17 years or something, so I rarely, if I mention it to people, I get up. What's that? Like, oh, I've heard of that. I've heard of that. What is it? Like, I hear that.
Exactly what it is, but I've heard.
Yeah, so I rarely do I get that anymore.
Yeah, because back in the day for that, geocaching was a secretive game. That was that special. You kind of felt that cloak and dagger, spy feel to it, where you'd go out and nobody knows what I'm up to while I'm doing this. And like with nowadays, like you said, where cell phone games are so popular now, it's like, no big deal. Everybody does it.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. It's like, it's not like it's not breaking the mold, so to speak. It's not, now it's more or less like just one more game out there, that people are playing. I mean, I remember when, you mentioned like people wondering what you're doing. I remember, when was Saddam Hussein killed? Was that 2008, 2009-ish, 9, 10? When was?
A little later than that, maybe?
Was it later than that? I remember whenever he was killed.
Yeah.
No, Saddam, not like. Not Bin Laden. Saddam.
Yeah, that was under the Bush era. So
So whenever he was killed, I remember like there was a high. Like I was getting a ton of LEOs because people were paranoid of what was going on. So like the cops would be like, "You got to be careful, man! Like everybody's on edge because of what's going on."
Exactly.
So I'm like, "All right, man." Like most cops didn't know, but some did, and I'd meet some who did. Like now, it's rare that I'll find a cop who doesn't know what it is.
Yeah, and even in some of the articles we had talked about recently on the show, they're already checking out the website to see if a geocache exists at the location that they're, have a suspicious package.
Right.
So that insight has come into play now, which is great that they have enough forethought to sit there and look at where, it may very well just be a geocache.
Right. Well, it's time. I mean, time is now on its side, time and AR. I mean, those two things that came together and it's now it's just a game. Now it's not I mean, I cache now. It's like, I'll just lift the skirt. I don't care. I'll take a quick glance around and lift the skirt.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember doing one of the old GeoSnippets videos that I did where we're sitting there talking about how not to look suspicious.
Right.
When you go look over your shoulder trying to look for people who are looking at you, that kind of thing.
But I would like sit for 10 minutes and wait, make sure nobody's around.
I was digging through a bush with a cop car no more than 150 feet away from me. I couldn't tell if there was an officer in there or not. It's like, okay. If he comes over, I'll explain it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's changed that much. It really has. Can you imagine if they had wigged out with Pokemon? Can you
imagine Pokemon in like 2007, 2006?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That would just be insane.
And it's amazing what's still. Did you hear what happened in Chicago? Not to get off topic, but like with Pokemon, there was a huge
the servers going down. And
yep, there was a huge Pokemon. I guess
services going down.
People came from all over the world. A buddy of mine sat all night in line for tickets.
Really?
Yeah. And tickets were like so hard to get. He's just all night. People came from all over the world, and nothing worked.
Oh God. Yeah. Oh, that's the one where they're all trying to apologize. I did glance over the.
That was in Chicago last weekend. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yep.
And then I think they opened up the zone a little bit wider, so people got a little bit more dispersed, so that people would wind up having cellular network access.
Oh my God.
In the end, I think something like 7 million Pokemon were captured at in the Chicago area.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about like you think like it's bad when you go to Omega. I mean, this was like thousands and thousands of people shut down everything. Yeah.
Yeah,
and these people paid money. At least you really don't pay money for Omega. You have the choice to pay money or not. These people bought tickets. People came from took plane rides and stuff.
Wow, that is something.
Yeah, and they'd be like, "Yeah, that works."
That's the way it is, and it's going to be interesting how, as these type of games progress over time. I mean, we're just at the tip of the iceberg. How this would influence how cellular networks are now, as opposed to where they're going to have to be in 5 years, because they're going to have to blow the throughput off the scales now to keep up.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you look at AR, like, I mean, in another 5 years, where it's going to be. I mean, I'm looking like, I was just looking at like the iPhone 8 and everything it's going to be able to do with AR and whatnot. It's pretty amazing. You know, it's pretty amazing. And like, you look at 5 years from now, when all these games, I mean, Pokemon's tip of the iceberg. You're going to see so many because it worked. I mean, now the kids are done. My 10-year-old doesn't play anymore, but like my friend who's a millennial, he's 30. Oh my God, he like lives for it. So it's catered now towards the millennials. I haven't opened the app in months. Jesse, I occasionally catch playing it, but like,
I got a friend at work. Every time we go out to lunch and stuff, he's always
he's spinning.
Like, come on, put the damn thing away.
Yeah,
I
mean, winter killed it for me.
3 weeks after it came out. I'm sorry.
Winter killed it. Winter, once winter was here, I was done.
I was pretty thorough for a while, but I've been out of it for about 5-6 months now.
Oh yeah, I haven't opened the app since like November. Yeah, I mean, I download the updates when I see them, but I haven't even opened it. Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it is. It's interesting how times have changed so much, where now it's absolutely accepted.
Yeah,
with this and expected,
and it's going to get more accepted because once more AR games come, you're going to see people, Muggles, with their face in their nose, with their nose in their phone, walking around doing the exact same thing that we do.
Yeah, even now they said, okay, how the Windows glasses, that they call it a failure, but yet there's already so many prototypes of new glassware that you can do to have your computer systems hooked right up to your face. And go, that'll be another step that'll be
Google
in there.
Glass 2 is coming out. I mean, they actually, it's like it was a little too early, but now with augmented reality and stuff,
they want to get in on that.
They want to get in on it.
It's amazing. It's amazing what's coming. It blows me away.
Yeah, it really does. It's something like that, and people have changed over time with that. I am curious how. Okay, so back then, so many things would trigger off somebody to go through and say, this particular person was a possible terrorist or a possible bad guy. I mean, you had little old ladies looking out their windows.
Oh, yeah.
Any car that didn't match their list.
I had to move one of my caches because every time someone would go for it, if they were there too long, police would roll up because this lady in our house would call the police on them. It's like, okay, you've got a 6-foot brick wall between you and them.
Yeah.
And they're looking in the tree in the easement area over here, but you're calling the police saying that you think someone's casing your house.
Right.
Different people keep casing my house.
Yes.
I don't understand.
Yeah. And it's funny with things like that. And even now, I mean, I remember not too long ago where the police had been told about a suspicious gnome in a park, and they're casing said gnome.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
And waiting for the drug deals to come up, and then this lady with her 2 kids pulls up and signs the log, and it's like, is that going to slowly, go away, or is that going to be that much more frustrating for law enforcement, because so many people now it doesn't stick out like it used to,
right?
For stuff like that.
Yes, because drug dealers do business through gnome holes.
Exactly.
And of course, when as a terrorist, when I blow things up, I tend to do it in old cemeteries.
I tend to like to blow up trees in the middle of the forest. It's really fun with my banana bomb that blows up pine trees. It's very. So if anything, it's a renaissance in terms of it's gotten better. It's gotten better in terms of suspicion and I mean I you tell me I'm the king of the LEOs, but I can't tell you the last time I had an LEO. It doesn't happen anymore. That's disappointing.
Yeah, I know, it doesn't happen. I think we had one a little while ago, but like remember, because I was like, I'm talking to Jesse. Remember, like I said, we haven't had an LEO in a while. Like, oh my god, we haven't had one in a while. Yeah. So it's like, yeah, it's people aren't scared anymore, and like they were.
And I don't
want to have one just to be able to say I had one.
I don't search them out, but
yeah, I wouldn't do that, Chad. I wouldn't do that.
Well, I'm not going to do anything illegal in order to do it, but it'll be kind of interesting to have a police roll up on you and say, "What are you doing there, buddy?"
It's not the first time for me. I've had quite a few myself, but I'll tell you what, almost every single one of them, they were more concerned with how I was. It's like, are you okay? Is your car all right? Do you need any help? That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It was the state not the state troopers, but the forest rangers that came up wearing Glocks, where I went, I'm geocaching. Yeah, that's it. Let me show you where it's at.
The closest I've been is a mall cop.
A mall cop
asking a group of us what we were doing.
Yeah. Those are the most dangerous. It's the quiet ones. You got to be careful.
Yeah, packing his pepper spray.
It was Paul Blart in his pepper spray with the Segway. Mall cop 2.
Oh, so in terms of like Muggles, I mean, I don't know. I think and maybe it's just me or us, because we've been doing it for so long that I'm not like I used to be in terms of like trying to be,
secretive,
stealthy and sneaky.
Well, over time the phrase changed from being stealthy to caching with confidence.
Yeah, and like I say, I usually go into a place like acting like I belong.
Yeah. Exactly.
Do that.
It's like, I know what I'm doing. This is cool. Don't worry about it. We're fine. And just boom, and away you go.
Mean, we'll look around the pole. Just look around the pole. And people will be looking at me, but I'm checking out the pole, looking for they don't know.
Did you ever do that joke before?
What?
Where you're in the middle of a mall and you just look up in the corner and just stare, kind of get a look on your face and just stare. And then the guy next to you suddenly starts looking up there, and after a while, you get a whole crowd.
You give them a what the hell is that look?
And then while they're doing that, looking up, you just kind of walk off and leave them. It's great, but no, I'm just saying, fun we did as kids. I'm just saying. But yeah, it really is one of those situations. I think a bit of advice that I can give to geocachers, especially newer geocachers, have what I call your elevator speech ready. Mm-hmm. Sit there and have that 30 seconds of information where you can decisively tell somebody what geocaching is. And the other thing is, have yourself a pamphlet. I always keep pamphlets in my geocaching bag when I go, because that way you've got something tangible. They don't think you're just making this up. Here, this is the game. Here's the number. Here's the website you can go to go check it out.
I just show my phone. I should have look,
same thing.
It's real. I'm not doing anything wrong.
Show what it's doing, because that helps out a lot. And one of the things is, if you're describing geocaching nowadays, we just say it's a high-tech scavenger hunt.
Yeah.
And people know what scavenger hunts are.
I say it's a game.
Right.
Yeah, I just say it's a game.
Yeah. And it's like, okay. And it sticks. And that makes it a lot easier that way.
Yeah. My advice to new cachers is don't run. Do not run. You're doing nothing illegal. You won't get in trouble.
In your car.
Yeah. Do not run.
Especially from an LEO.
Yes.
Oh God, no! Don't run from that.
Yes.
But even from a guard, or even from a person, or from a mall cop, right? Don't run. Just say. I always go hello. You know,
we're not doing anything illegal.
Nope,
unless you're trespassing, and that's a different.
I don't think
story.
anyone's ever been arrested for geocaching that I've ever heard of.
No. And so you're not doing anything illegal.
Although being thrown in the back of a car and driven across state lines.
That's
I've had a friend handcuffed, but never. But they took the cuffs off and let him go. But they cuffed him.
Yeah. You got to be careful. You be cool. Realize that the police, especially, they know when you're lying. They're paid to know when you are lying. Don't lie.
Just say you're geocaching. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not doing anything illegal.
Wrong.
They may say like you can't be here. It's private property. They'd be like, all right, and then you say, okay, I'll let the owner know. I'm not the owner of the cache. I'll let him know.
Yep.
I'll put it in my log. I'll let him know.
That's what I told the park rangers when they sat there and said, this is actually park property and this should not be here. Yes, sir. I will. You want me to take it now? I'll take it now and I'll get it to the CO and go that way. Just don't lie. It's not good.
Don't lie, don't run. Two things. For God's sakes, don't run.
Yeah. Because I how many times have you the one that always blew my mind is where people were reporting suspicious activity near a school as the car sped away.
Right.
What? If you are that paranoid that you're signing a geocache log and you got to speed away for the car so you don't get caught, then you shouldn't be going for that one. Just saying.
But
it's a smiley.
What always makes me laugh is the people who are like, "What are you doing?" Who like walk up to you and be like,
"Oh, I love that."
I am so not that kind of person. If I saw somebody rooting around in the bushes,
I
would. I'm an MYOB person. Mind your own business, right? I'm that guy.
Walk to the other side of the street and go on down the road and ignore the crazy guy.
I don't talk to people when I'm in lines. I MYOB. You know, if I'm standing in line doing something.
That's the difference between north and south. Down here, they'll talk to a stump. I mean, it's really that bad. The people down here bring up conversation anywhere.
Yeah,
so I'm used to it. I'm
not here at all. No. So when people come up to me like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Mind your own business, dude." They're like, "Really?"
Yeah. Then you want to make something up. I'm hiding my nuclear waste. Just you know,
like.
Yeah, but it's interesting with folks that way. You just the cultures are different in different areas. Up in Michigan, just like Scott said, I don't even know who my neighbors are. Down here, they'll bring up a conversation. I've been in grocery lines. I've been at restaurants. I've been in we heard your conversation, and hey, by the way,
really?
So, yeah, it's
like really.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I've had a couple of looks when I've started talking to someone in lines. I was like, are you crazy or what? Out here in California. In Texas, it would have been perfectly normal.
Yeah, absolutely. It's how it goes with it. So just be conscious of
maybe it's because you live in such a dense area where there's so many people that are crazy that
we can go with that.
You tend not to talk to people. You just look forward and mind your own business.
In the north, they'd rather cut you than talk to you. So I'm just saying.
So those kind of people always like they throw me for a loop because I'm like, dude, mind your own business. Like I instantly get an attitude usually.
No, I've had many times.
I don't know if it's a cop, but if it's like a muggle, like like who's like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
well, you remember the techniques we used to use with that, where you sit there and you drop your car keys, or you go to tie your shoe. Tie
your shoe is a big one. Yeah,
I mean, there's so many different ways that we had to learn to be a little more stealthy for things like that.
Then there's the classic, the old, you put the vest on.
Oh yeah, I still have it in my car.
Clipboard.
I have a hard hat, a clipboard, and a vest that doesn't fit, but it still works.
Man out here uses it all the time, and but he uses his personal work one. So
okay.
that helps.
And it's like that fails. grab the clipboard.
Yeah. Now for me, I always laugh because I'm wearing the tie-dye shirts and I'm thinking, how many guys at work are wearing tie-dye shirts with a vest on and a hard hat? Really? Right. Nothing suspicious here, but nobody gave me a second look. Never had a problem. You just act like you're an inspector. You're checking the pole. You're making sure this is good. This looks right.
It's human camouflage. So that's what it is.
I am the tree inspector. I'm the pine tree inspector. That's why I'm circling it 50 times, Yes.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. But that's how it is. It has changed. There's so many different things that go on with that. And I don't think there's too many. I mean, there's always going to be that weird situation where somebody gets ugly when it comes to you shouldn't be here. Okay, fine. You leave. Yeah. You go into there. If you're in a spot you're not supposed to be in, then maybe that's, the smiley is not worth it.
No, I've never had a Muggle do that. I've had cops do that. I've had cops with a big attitude.
Yeah, I've had never like store owners or somebody like that. It's like, why are you here?
No, I've had a guy on a horse with a 6-shooter.
Oh,
quite literally come up to me.
Only in Texas. It must be.
Yeah, that was in Texas. And it is like, I know damn well that it was on the easement, but it's like, oh, yes, sir. Sorry, sir. I'm out of here, sir. It's like,
yeah, down in the South, you got to really, you got to be careful because, they don't have 6. Well, actually, I can't say that. North Carolina is a free gun state, so you can carry guns with the proper permission. So it's not uncommon to see a person walking around with something on their side or in their back.
Does your wife's from that? Does she carry a gun, Andy?
No, she uses a large club, which. But yeah,
has she ever fired a gun?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Have you fired a gun?
I have fired many guns.
Really?
Yes. Matter of fact, it's interesting for Amanda, my daughter, who's now 1. One of the geocachers that is here is from Special Forces. And when Amanda was about 14 or so, he said, hey, I want to take her for a day and I'm going to teach you the proper way to shoot a gun and go. Here we go. So she learned out from a Special Forces expert who is an instructor now for Special Forces, how to properly handle a gun and what to do and what not to do. And I can't tell you how confident I feel about her knowing how to correctly use a gun.
Right.
So
God, I've seen so many idiots on our gun range, and it's like
exactly.
Point that gun downrange.
Yeah, exactly. What could happen?
What?
Yes.
Yeah. What?
So yeah, it's you just got to be careful. And in the South, again, it's like Texas. There's people with guns no matter where you are, and you just kind of respect. And those are the ones that I sit closer to at the restaurants, because if something goes, I'm more the guy that's protecting.
I live in a liberal state. We don't.
Yeah.
Too many people carry guns.
Yeah. So it's just how it is. Just be careful out there when somebody says you're not supposed to be here,
Oh yeah. You don't bitch about it. You say, okay, thank you. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You don't.
So things have changed and some things have not over time, but
of course, but I mean, I think it's all changed. I think it's changed for the better. I think what the biggest change was AR and the influx of games like geocaching, Ingress, and all that stuff. And it's all, not only did it help the game, but it also, bring people to the game, but it also it made it more socially acceptable. Is that the word I'm looking for?
Yeah, absolutely.
Socially aware and acknowledged, and
Yeah, and now actually being ignored because everybody notices everybody's faces in their smartphone. So it's
we're in a world where everybody's nose is in their smartphone. Yeah, so
I've had people actually ask me if I'm playing Pokemon Go before.
Yes. Yes.
I was like, no, I'm geocaching.
But it's like Pokemon. It's like Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
It's like Pokemon Go.
Only you find real things.
Right? It's Pokemon Go with a purpose.
Yes. Logical thinking, but don't get me started. I'll just tell you the differences. So yeah, that's how it is, and it's going to be interesting to see what like I said, what it's going to be like in 5-10 years. And
I'd be curious to see, because somehow they got to incorporate it, and I'm eager to see how they're going to do it.
Yeah,
You know,
I think we should just cut straight to the Matrix and just put the implants in the back of the neck and just go.
Well, dude, we're like about 25 years away from that. So
I'm telling you,
it's creepy.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, once you get the Google Glass and you could actually, once you get the Google contacts, that's when things are going to get creepy.
Have you, I mean, I know we're running this right at the end here, but have you ever actually seen like the Samsung VR glasses with that?
No.
There's one that I'm dying to get it because I've got Samsung products, but they've got one of the VR things where it's the latest Pete's Dragon. And you're actually, it's not that the cartoon, it's the 3D, you know, real looking Pete's Dragon that has hair.
Not ours, not the 70s Pete's Dragon.
No, not the ones we know, but the Pete's Dragon from like a couple years ago.
Right.
You are actually on the back of Pete's Dragon.
Get out of town.
Flying. The wind is blowing the hair back. You can see everything. You can see the wings as it's going. You can look up. You can look down and see territory. He swoops down, goes across water and just above tree lines. And that's it. Feed me Twinkies. Give me some liquids, and just let me stay there for the rest of my life because that's it. That is all.
Well, did you see Daryl a couple of weeks ago when he was out at the GeoBash? He was periscoping him. He had a 360 camera,
yep.
360s, and Jesse was there, and I was watching. You could literally circle around, and I saw Jesse and Cam caching with Daryl up and down. It was amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And
I mean, a whole other level.
All in VR now. So that's the next thing that everybody.
Yeah, that's the next thing. Yeah, you got Periscope. Now you got VR Periscope. You know. Yep. Yeah, it's a shame I want to be 20 now.
I know it. Like, I keep saying that. I got bored
years
too
be
soon.
60. You know, like boo.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
We'll have to do nostalgia in the next couple episodes and just go back and just bring back all the other stuff because it's disappointing. Just saying.
I envy my children who get
to
enjoy all this fun stuff.
And the stuff that they take for granted now.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, come on. I'm going to kindergarten and I'll take my iPad with me. Really?
No, my kids get an iPad at school. They're given one.
Yes. Yeah. It's like, geez.
Yeah, my son gets a Chromebook at school and stuff. And it's like, really?
You know what I got? I got a horse leg pencil and a piece of paper with the lines that are 4 inches wide.
And with a dashed one in the middle.
With the dash in the middle so you can figure it out.
And a slide rule. And
oh, yeah. I mean, come on. No, actually, I just real quick, I'll bring up first grade, which was at a Catholic school. The rulers back then were basically wood planks with metal put on one edge, so that put your hand out, Andy. Why? Smack. Yes. And it was like I was happy that I got the flat end as opposed to the sharp end. So they liked me.
Nuns like to whack knuckles with rollers.
But they could play hoop. I'm just saying. They knew how to play hoop. All right, but I digress. Thanks, folks, for stopping on by and listening to this craziness. But that's part of the fun. We love going back and hitting nostalgia every once in a while. I want to thank Scott. Thank you for being back here soon, and Taz and InfoFerret will be back next week so we can get our wonderful perspective from the other side of the planet. Keep in mind, feel sorry for her. It's the middle of winter. And
dude, in 17 weeks it'll be snowing here. I don't pity her.
I know. And then she can sit there and say how nice and warm and wonderful it is.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, always perspective. All right, good stuff. So thanks for stopping on by. We greatly do appreciate it. And we will see you fine folks next week on the Geocaching Podcast once I learn how to talk. All right, let's do this. Thank you for subscribing to the Geocaching Podcast. Please be sure to join us each and every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time for another episode of the Geocaching Podcast, right here on the Geocaching Podcast website at www.geocachingpodcast.com/live. The video version of our show is available on YouTube, and the audio version is available on our home website, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and on many of your favorite podcatchers. We love hearing from our viewers and listeners, so please listen to us through our visit us through our social media sites or contact us via our voicemail line at 630-31-VOICE. The The Geocaching Podcast is a Headhardhat production and is produced by Andy Smith, Scott Berks, Chad Courtney, and Sarah T.S. This show is copyright 2017 by Andrew T. Smith. All rights reserved. And clear. All right, folks. So thank you so much for stopping on by. Greatly appreciate it. And we will see you next week on another fun-filled, exciting Scott Berks. Wonderful to have him back here.
I'm back.
Geocaching Podcast. See you next week, folks. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.